I'm Elliott Callender and I run Remote Humans, and I've spent the last 18 years at the intersection of technology and humans. The last 2 years, though, I have helped and worked with business owners and leaders to help them learn about AI, build with it, and embed it in their business and in their teams. And the number one thing that I see my clients do when I first speak to them is they enter the same information into the AI tools that they use over and over again. That's information about their business, who they are, how they work, etc. And so today I'm going to show you a fix that means that AI actually remembers who you are permanently, and the difference is substantial in the output. So stick with me. I'll walk you through exactly how this setup actually works in ChatGPT, Claude, and Gemini, and you can open whichever tool you like to use, whatever is your tool of choice, and follow along with me as well. The details about what we're going to go through are in the description below. Imagine you have hired a temp or a contractor, and they are sharp, they are fast, they remember the things that you tell it. You tell it. Imagine you have hired a temp or a contractor, and they are fast, they are sharp, they are witty, they remember the things that you tell them. But every morning they walk in and they look at you and say, "Sorry, who are you?" That is exactly what's happening with AI at the moment, and there are ways to make sure that your AI actually remembers what you have explored, who you are, what your business context is, and what your team does, and who your clients are. And so that is what we're going to go through. So in this 5-minute setup, we're going to explore how to use ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude, whichever tool is your favorite tool to use or your preferred tool to use. They each have a way of making sure that they actually understand and remember the information that you give it and the context of who you are. So that will give you better results going forward, and you will start to be able to create AI systems that actually build and compound over time. There are 3 things that are worth saving. The first thing is really the details and understanding of who you are. What is your name? What is your business? What industry are you in? Who do you serve? Who do you cater for? And who are your clients? That information is beautiful information for the AI to know and understand. The second part is how you work. And this information is also important, especially when it comes to the workflows that you have, the tasks, and getting the output of those tasks to be a far higher quality. So telling and sharing the AI your tone, how you actually speak, your language, your preferred formats, your styles, and providing examples of emails, text messages, WhatsApp messages, iMessages, the LinkedIn posts that you have, writing styles, and all of that kind of information. That gives it very, very good context to go on and then start to form and shape what the output is going to look like and how it actually creates that output. The third thing is what to avoid. And so these are nuances that are specific to you, right? So the jargon that you don't want to be used, the emojis, or whether you do actually use emojis, your grammar and how you actually bring things together grammatically is also important. So I've not singled out American spelling here, but the idea is that I speak British English, and so therefore I want the AI to avoid using American English. But these are the nuances that you can feed into the AI and make sure that it avoids these patterns, and then you get far higher quality output as well. The third thing is what to avoid, and this is just making sure that the AI understands the aspects of things that you don't want it to remember or you don't want it to actually do, and it's taking the information, it's been trained on the world's information at the end of the day, and so it has information that are kind of defaults almost. So your defaults are who you are. What makes you human as well. And so telling the AI what to avoid is really important. So that could be jargon. It could be the use or not using emojis. It could be the spelling style that you actually want. So I always want British English rather than American English, but the AI always defaults to American English and spelling. And so those are some aspects that I wanted to avoid. M dashes. I do not want M dashes in there. And so I have made sure that I have been very specific with the things that I wanted to avoid and also that I wanted to include. Quick pause. This video is sponsored by me. Two things. The first thing is I've included a link below in the description to my newsletter, How Work Works Now, where I share the shifts and patterns that I am seeing in AI and humans collaborating together. If you're interested in that type of thing, then I'd love for you to sign up and be part of that. And the second thing is, if you want to work with me, I've also included links in the description below with a range of my offerings where you can explore how to work with me and how I can help you become AI native and AI fluent. And with that, let's go back to the video. So this brings me on to the creation of the personal README. And when I was working as head of remote at Economics Design, we had a global remote team, and I introduced this concept to the team and the business, which made sure that the whole team understood how each other works, the ways that people collaborate, the things that they enjoy in their life, as well as in their roles. And it's a living document at the end of the day, and it gives really beautiful context as to, how someone would like to collaborate and move things forward and how work gets done. And so what I am suggesting here is that you create your own README and then share that with both your team and also AI, and both people, the digital teammates as in your AIs and also your human meat space teammates are then going to be able to collaborate with you better and understand how to interact and move things forward more efficiently and effectively. So I created this README and I shared this on Notion. It's just a document. And so we're going to create that together as well, using AI to help you go through that process. So how I approach this is letting AI interview you. And this is effectively a reverse interview. And so what the AI is going to do is it will ask you a bunch of questions that allows it to form a clear picture of who you are, how your business works, the interaction points, how you like to communicate, your communication styles, the things that you like to avoid as well, like we mentioned. And so this will give you incredible granular details as to who you are, how you actually function. And it may actually be very interesting even as an exercise for you, because at the end of the day, you may not know how you actually collaborate and how you communicate, and you may not have ever written that down and recorded that almost. And so this is going to be a really beneficial process for everyone, whether you have gone through this kind of thing before or if it's just brand new to you. So here's the prompt, and I've included this prompt in the description below. And so we're going to start off with ChatGPT, and the prompt is very simple. It just says, interview me in depth about who I am, how I work, and what I want to avoid when collaborating. Ask me about my role, my business, my audience, my communication style, my tone preferences, formats I like, phrases I hate, and anything else that would be helpful understanding me. Keep asking until there are no gaps, and then create a personal README document I can share with my team and I can use as context in AI tools. Structure it as who I am, how I work, and what to avoid. And so it's very simple. And what we'll see is going through this process, we also see the differences between each of the AI tools because they each have their own methods, their personalities almost, and behaviors. And so I wanted to show you that as well as you go through the process, just so you get a look and feel for perhaps other AI tools that you haven't used before as well. Okay, so we're in ChatGPT at the moment, and I have made sure that I'm using the thinking model, and I'm using extended thinking because I want to have the AI do a lot of analysis and reasoning around what I have shared and make sure that the information and output is as high quality as I can get. And so I'm just going to hit enter on that, and we'll see what it comes up with and how it actually behaves in this process as well. Okay, so it's given some information, and it looks like it's going to ask a bunch of questions here. So we can see core identity, it goes through the kind of foundations of who you are, and then business context, and then it's breaking it down into your audience and your stakeholders and your working style, and then also your communication preferences, your standards, and your quality bar. What are your standards? What does good look like and what does bad look like? Again, also your collaboration landmines and practical operating instructions. And so here, what ChatGPT is doing is it is giving you a list of the questions, and it will allow you to kind of riff and think about the components of how you work and how you collaborate. And you can then just go ahead and speak with the AI and share your thoughts. So I'm going to use something called Voice AI, which allows me to speak to the AI. You can also use the dictate function and feature here. And I would highly recommend using these features because it allows you to provide far more rich details and context to the AI. Instead of you typing, I find that when you type, there is this kind of concise element to it that you're filtering beyond what you're kind of thinking and then what you're kind of expressing. And so I find that just speaking with AI allows me to have a much more fluid conversation. So that's what we're going to start here today. So first of all, we're going to start with the core identity. So what do you do in plain English? What is your title? And what are you responsible for? What are you unusually good at, etc. So let's give that a try. So I am an AI consultant and I run Remote Humans, which is an AI coaching and consulting business. And my title is founder. And I am responsible for making sure that the business grows and also that my clients and customers are up to speed with the latest details and understand how to use AI in their business and in their team. What am I unusually good at? I would say that I'm unusually good at taking something from that's just a kind of complex mishmash of information and then translating that and turning that into easily understandable information. I would say that some of my magic is alchemy, turning nothing into something. And I would say that I'm also exceptionally good at using technology and trying to understand it from the human perspective. What do people reliably come to me for? AI details and advice, technology, information, and also how to be more human and how you kind of explore the human experience as well. Okay, so my voice AI has just shared exactly what I've said, and I'm going to just enter that into ChatGPT and see what it comes up with. And we should then be able to go through this process iteratively. I'll let you just get on with that yourself, and we'll come back at the end and see, what we have created. But ultimately, just go through the process of having a conversation with your AI, giving it as much context as you can, and that will allow it to really understand who you are. So now you can see that it's telling me that it's a strong start. It's kind of given me a little bit details of what I've went through, and now it's moved on to the next part, which is the business clarity, and then it will continue going through that. So you can take it step by step, and that will allow you to create the README in ChatGPT. Next, we're going to try Claude. Okay, so I am in Claude. Similar situation to ChatGPT. I am using the best model that is out and available at the moment, Opus 4.6, and I am going to just hit enter, and get that started. And again, we'll see how Claude behaves versus ChatGPT. So it's saying that it is going to ask in rounds, so it doesn't feel like a wall of questions, which is a lot different to ChatGPT, as you see. ChatGPT just kind of gave us a whole set of questions that was a wall of questions, and we needed to go through that ourselves to figure out where and how we're going to actually approach it. Whereas Claude has allowed us to take it in a bit more bite-sized chunks, and it's a bit more digestible. So that's the information there. So again, I'm just going to go through the process. You'll see it's very similar to ChatGPT, so I won't go through it in the video, but at the end of the day, you just go through this process and answer the questions, and it will allow it to really get a great feel for who you are. Next, we're going to use Gemini for the same thing. Okay, so I'm in Gemini here, and again, I'm selecting the best model at the moment, which is the Pro, and I'm just going to get that started. Okay, so it's actually created the README for me based on the information that it knows. However, I'm going to ask it to actually interview me because I don't want it to just use the information that it has. I want it to be much more in-depth and detailed README. So let's just give that a try. Can you actually reverse interview me and go through the questions that I might need to answer in order to create a very detailed README, as well as using some of the information that you already know about me? So I'm going to just send it off, see what it comes back with. And this, again, it may be the experience that you get because some of the AI tools already have information about you in its memory, and therefore it pulls that before actually doing the task. And so we're seeing here that we perhaps need to just steer the AI in the direction of what you're trying to achieve and the outcome that you're trying to get. It's asking the questions similar style to ChatGPT in the sense that it's given us a bunch of questions to answer. And again, you can just continue to go through the process of answering those questions. But you can see in terms of the style, the questions are perhaps a little bit deeper and more tailored. That's because it's using some of its understanding of me as well. So yeah, the different personalities are quite interesting to see firsthand. ChatGPT being kind of give you everything all at once. Claude is more bite-sized, iterative. It will ask you questions more like an interview in that style. And then I would see Gemini as kind of a in-between where it's asking you questions, but it's also then asking you a bit more detailed questions and more of them all in one go. So that's kind of the difference between the models at the moment. So that's how you would go through the process of the reverse interview and creating your README. Let's take a look at actually what we need to do with that now once you get it created. If you are using ChatGPT, it has a way of saving this information as personalization, and that will then be fed into each of your conversations going forward with it. So we're going to take the README and then we're going to add that into personalization, but you can also just add it to a project, and I'll show you what the differences are over here as well. So if we go to ChatGPT, we have our settings down here, and if we go to personalization, and then you'll see personalization custom instructions, and then also details about you, and you can add in more about you. And so I would probably add that into the more about you, and you can see here I have already added some of the details that I prefer, how I actually approach what I do in life and how I run my business. And so you just paste it in there and then close that out. That then gets fed into the new conversations that you have with ChatGPT. The other way that you can do it is to use ChatGPT projects. So if you click on new project over here, you can name it something. So perhaps it's remote humans context, and then we can create the project. And so if we go down here, it's just created now. Great. So now we can click on sources, and we can upload a source, and you can see here text input. I'm going to paste in, this is a README that I created before, and I'm just going to call this README. Great. So this document and the text is then going to be kind of an attachment to each of the chats that you have within this particular project. And so it should be able to pull that information each time that you are creating something, and it will give you much better output going forward as well. Now we're going to try Claude, and we're going to do the same. So we're going to go down to Settings, and then you'll see on the General tab, under Personal Preferences, I have Use British English, and I'm just going to paste the details of my README in here as well. And so that will then be fed into the conversations that I have with Claude, and I'm going to save those changes. And each time that I have a chat with Claude, it will now remember those preferences and my README details. If you don't want to have that as a global setting that is fed into every chat that you have, you can just use a project, and you can click on Projects and then New Project. And again, I'm going to call it Remote Humans Context. And I'm going to leave the what am I trying to achieve, it doesn't really matter. Create the project. And then you'll see on the right-hand side, we have instructions. Now, this is the instructions for the overall project. It's not where you want to put it. You want to put it in the files part and then add text content. Paste that in there, and we can just name it README. Add the content. And again, you see that that is an attachment to the project. And every time that you chat inside this project, the information from your README will be fed into the AI, and it will remember the details behind your business and all of that jazz. Lastly, we're going to try this out in Gemini. This is a slightly different process because the personalization that we could do in ChatGPT and in Claude is slightly different. So if you were to go to Settings and then Personal Context, and try to add your instructions into the Gemini settings here, it may be too long and it won't actually save. So instead, we're going to just use a Gemini gem, which is basically a project similar to ChatGPT and Claude. So if we go to gems over on the left-hand side, and then we can create a new gem. If you scroll down, we can call this README, or actually we're going to call it something else because it's the overall project. So Remote Humans Context. And this is where I create my projects and client work. And then we have instructions. So this is more the details behind how the project and how AI should actually function. So it's not there that we're going to add it. We're going to add it into the knowledge, and we're going to add files, and we're going to then upload the file. So if you have not saved the README, we need to save the README and then put it into the AI this way. So that's what we're going to do. Okay, I've saved the file now, and we're going to just upload it using the upload function. So we have my README and open, and you can see here that it then attaches to your project, and it will be part of that project going forward each time that you have a conversation with Gemini in there as well. We're going to just save that, and that becomes a project that will be able to be used multiple times over. So now we can start that chat, and again, it has information about me, and I don't need to repeat myself each and every time. So what we've created there is one document, your README, which can then be used across multiple different AI tools. It can be used in ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, or other AI tools, and it can be shared with your colleagues and your teammates, and it can be made available across your organization if you wanted to as well. And so that gives the context that moves with you in the workflows that you are doing and using, and that can be something that lives with you going forward. You can change it, you can update it as you wish, and you'll see the output and the changes and how AI actually interacts with it going forward as well. So let's go and try a little demo of this. So what we're going to do is use the same prompt, but we're going to watch the difference between the different tools with the README and without the README. So first of all, we're going to just take this prompt, which is write me a LinkedIn post about why small businesses should start using AI this year. So we're going to start off with ChatGPT, and I'm going to show what the difference is without and then with the README. So I'm going to do without the README first. Let's see how it behaves and what it comes up with. All right, so it's written a LinkedIn post. It's given some details, and it has very little information about, my business, who I am, how I actually approach things. So it's generic, and that is the idea that we were going to get generic information. Let's go and try with the projects that we created, which is remote humans context. And now I'm just going to paste that in and see how it comes and forms the posts this time. So it is thinking about the file that we have added. You can see there that it's actually brought that into its memory. And now it is writing some details in the LinkedIn post that is much more tailored to what my README says. So it's given details of, the types of businesses that I actually help, and also the less grind, more growth is my tagline that I sometimes include in my posts. And so that is a far more customized and personalized LinkedIn post that I could then, if I don't want to take it and put it straight into LinkedIn, I could go and edit it, but I could just post it. And so that's much better, right? Much better outputs. Let's try Claude next. Let's have a look and see how Claude fares. This is without using the personalization and the README. So again, it's come up with a LinkedIn post. It doesn't have much in the way of details about my business and what I focus on and who I actually serve. So it's very generic. Let's go and try the project and see how that fares. So again, it is more personalized and tailored to what I actually shared in the README. It has included details that are in the README and that are specific to my business, and it has included the tagline, and so it's much more tailored to how I would actually perhaps write a LinkedIn post. So again, we've improved the results and the output just by creating the README and spending a little bit of time on that document. Let's go and try Gemini. This is without the gem and the project. So this has created a LinkedIn post, and it's pulled in details from its memory. So it's slightly better, but it's still perhaps not quite aligned with the information that I have shared and put into the README. So yeah, it's better, it's more personalized, but let's see if we can improve this. So I'm now in my Gemini gem, the remote humans context one that I created for and with the README included, and let's see what it comes up with. It's included specific details about the information that I have included in my README, and it is much more tailored perhaps to what I've included in there as well. So again, it's improved the output and give me a much better result, which I can edit and use going forward in my workflows. Those are the three tools that I wanted to explore and experiment with you and show you how you can use AI to help you explore what your business does, who you are, how you work, and collaborate, create that document that is a living document, and then feed that into AI and improve your results substantially. And so that is something that I have done across various different clients and in my own world as well. And it's the number one thing that has made a huge difference. Instead of me having to repeat myself continuously, I've just included that document. And if you ever need to change what you have written, you can just go and edit that document again, and you can upload the document into various other tools as well. Now AI knows exactly what is going on in your business and understands who you are and how to actually create output that is far better. But the real question is, what can you actually do with this? And so that is going to be the next video, and I'll see you there.